And there are sides below them on the charge and with games in hand. Crucial weeks ahead, not just in the race for the title, but also the playoff places. And I guess that's where Halifax come in. The top 7 remains their aim, but they began the day 14th and playing catch-up. I guess these are 2 sides, really, who've got little in the way of wriggle room right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly a great way of putting it. I'm sure that Pete Wild will be looking for a bounce back from his players. The defeat against Maidenhead, but then also that defeat midweek against Barnet. The performance wasn't there, the personnel, or the standards that they had set themselves in certain parts of the season weren't there that evening against Tim Flowers' side. And for Torquay, the win for Sutton certainly adds a little bit more pressure on them with the game that Matt Grays have got in hand. But it's good to see that Leonard Hay-Evans is back. I know that Gary Johnson's had to deal with a lot of injuries. Not necessarily the massive and big squad that he's got, but this is a real test for both sides to try and give themselves that little edge.
Sherring's ball wide. And certainly injuries have really hampered both sides recently. Big players, difference makers missing for both sides. I guess this is down in part to who copes the best with those losses. What a managerial career Gary Johnson continues to have. Promoted 7 times. He's already won this division with Yeovil and Cheltenham. Could he make it a hat-trick with Torquay, you wonder? There's too much on that for Billy Waters. How important could his nous and knowledge be, Adam, in terms of been there and done it?
Yeah, absolutely massive. I think you look at the experience that he's had with Yeovil and Cheltenham to get out of this league. He certainly knows what it wants to take, and the way that he's shaped his squad this season, he knows the personnel and what is needed to get themselves into the playoffs. But I think you always felt there was a small shout of pushing for the league with the experience that he's brought in. But it's a know-how not to get too carried away when things are going well, and then not to be too critical of his players when things are just going a little bit inconsistent for them, which they maybe found themselves over the last 4 or 5 games.
Like so many other people, I'm delighted to see that the National League show goes on, and what a title race we have developing. This is Whitfield, who's gone for the return here and gets it off Randell. The ball in towards Zumera. Randell. Nice feet from Whitfield. Can he find the room for the cross? He did. Comes straight back out here to Whitfield, who's looking a bit of a threat down this left-hand side in the early stages. Randell beaten in the air as it drops here for Earink. Hall. Joe Lewis eager there to try and win it back, but couldn't. Off Williams. Something of an elevated view for Pete Wild. He's got a tough job on his hands at the moment with 8 players unavailable to him. He was very positive though, wasn't it, Adam, in his pre-match interview with Jeff Brazier, talking about how exciting his young players are who are on show today.
Well, I think you almost have to try and turn negatives into positives, and I think for this season for Halifax, it's just been one of those seasons where the expectation of a playoff place, I think sometimes is false when they go into it this season. Staying in the division would have certainly been the standards that they would have set at the start, but likes of Stenton and Hyde being seen as a front two has been a massive loss for them.
There's Leonard Hay-Evans with the ball in. Led forward by Williams. Allen's got to it. Campbell is the centre forward wearing 33. Allen's cross blocked. It's It's Kyle Cameron for the Gulls. This division's ability to excite and surprise really does remain undiminished. It's all way too close to call. In terms of the title race, you'd have to say that applies to the playoff places too. Halifax have hope, but they need points and quick. Winter's return could be really important for Gary Johnson, a steady, reliable figure in that defence. Has missed the last 15 games. Here's Whitfield. Shade over 5 minutes gone, and was he tripped there? Referee tells Whitfield to get to his feet. Lemonhay Evans. Hall. Winter. Flipped off the head of Jeff King. He could be very important getting forward as well today for Halifax, as we often see with him. Cameron. Whitfield. Cameron. They should have a good chance of goals today. These the two top scoring sides in the National League before this weekend. 75 goals between them. Whitfield. Winter. Was looking to release Campbell. They've got it back again here, Halifax. They've got 4 forward in this attack as well. Earring's one of them, but the pass intercepted by Asa Hall. Now a chance perhaps for the Gulls to counter-attack here. Whitfield. Waters makes his move into the box. I think it was intended for Josh Umera. Nicely played by Allen. Cameron's head. Mera up against Senior.
I was just seeing how the way that Pete Wild's side would certainly set up. He's been a 3-5-2 this season, but Mayer playing central as a centre-back usually. He's now gone into centre midfield. Danny Williams has gone on the left-hand side as a winger, and Senior going back in as a left-back. It's almost like a 4-4-1-1 formation. That's something he's not really done too much this season. I say with the injuries and the personnel he's got available, that's how much he's had to change things around to try and find a formation to play up against Torquay.
I remember when we saw them live on BT Sport at Weymouth, that convincing win that they had earlier in the season, Adam. 2 players they're missing today, Summerfield and Woods, were absolutely outstanding in the centre of midfield that day.
Well, they were, and Luke Summerfield is an absolute massive loss for them. arguably been the player of their season so far. Just that experience in the midfield area to control games at times, and Woods alongside him as well. Big losses for them.
Slightly heavy first touch, as then Hall was caught. Foul by Green. Just past the 10-minute mark at Plainmoor.
Well, it's really important with the two in midfield now in Green and Mayer that the communication is there, because there was a great little ball in there to Lemonhay Evans, who got in a half turn. Certainly a foul there on Asa Hall. No complaints from anybody with that decision given against them.
Well, it's Whitfield who's grabbed it and placed it, but now it's been taken away from him. There's a few who'll fancy this for Torquay. Cameron is the player with a problem here. That he's the only Torquay player this season to play in every minute of their league campaign, but it looks as though he's struggling a bit here, the defender. And they are going to indeed have to make a change, an early change, Torquay. It does seem like they've already made the decision, but still some exploratory work going on there. What messages do you think that Gary Johnson will be trying to get across here, Adam?
Well, I think you'd just say it's been a fairly decent start to the way that they wanted to play, with Lemonhay Evans back into the side. He's finding some really good positions. And when you've got Walters as well as Whitfield, there's three good options there, and the rotation in the final third's very good. And I look at Halifax this season, I've always noticed that when they concede that first goal, it really affects them. They find it really difficult to come back from trying to play themselves back into the game after conceding the first goal. So the defensive shape for them is going to be really important.
Jake Andrews it is, who's going to be coming on, had been dropped from the side today. And it's yet another injury for Gary Johnson. They've had so many of them of late, the likes of Liam Davis, Andrew Nelson, goalkeeper Lucas, Moxie still not quite right, Fraser Kerr's missing, Gary Warren, Armani Little. There's others I could mention as well. But it's Andrews who comes on here, signed from Bristol City in the summer of 2019. Well, Randell is certainly showing a strong interest in this. Whitfield is there too. So 5 in the wall. Can't get the required elevation, Adam Randell. 3 in the box to aim at. Umera's one of them. And he didn't get the last touch. It is going to be a corner.
They certainly have dominated this early period of the first half so far, Gary Jansen's side, and picking up second balls nicely. Teasing ball in there.
So Lemonhay Evans to take the corner. You can see the wind is swirling somewhat. Whitfield back to Lemonhay Evans. There's his cross. Umera's there, and it's cleared by Earink. Williams first to the loose ball. Torquay still leading the way in the National League, but there's no doubt their form has dropped off. The Gulls won 10 of their opening 12 games, but it's 3 wins in 10, something that injuries have played a big part in. One of the biggest misses, Adam, for Torquay has been Danny Wright, their top scorer with 8 National League goals this season. With him, they average 2.2 goals per game. Without him, it's 1.3, which is quite a drop-off.
Well, it absolutely is massive, and it's what he brings in that final third of occupying the defenders and bringing people into play that's the biggest loss for Gary Johnson's side. He's not prolific in terms of going to be 20 goals a season. I mean, he got a hat-trick against Hartlepool, and he's got a couple in other games as well.
Nice touch that by Lemonhay Evans, and Whitfield continues to show promise, and it goes out for a corner.
Well, you mentioned the rotation of those front three around O'Meara for Torquay. It's just so important for Halifax just to keep their shape, keep their discipline, and almost expect these waves of pressure to come, and it's almost the way that they have to defend it to then try and press on the counter, because at the moment they're being really pushed back at the moment.
Shering and Lewis have both come forward here. O'Meara stood almost on the goal line, and the goalkeeper maybe slightly misread that, Johnson, but got enough on it to turn it behind for another corner.
I think it's the one area I look at Sam Johnson on corners and crosses. I think he can be slightly vulnerable. Never convinced in these sort of areas, and that's certainly highlighted there.
He was at fault for Barnett's opening goal in the week, beaten 2-1 by the Bees at the Hive. Torquay try again, floated in by Lemonhay Evans. It was cleared by Williams, and then Bradbury put his head on it. Touch takes it through to Johnson. Really big frame. Sam Johnson, 6'7", he is over 2 meters tall.
Oh, he's brilliant last season for one of the reasons why Halifax did so well to get into the playoffs, because of his goalkeeping.
He's a real bundle of energy, isn't he, Whitfield?
He certainly is. I mean, he's always offering something, always on the move, and always positive in his runs as well. Those two together, arguably, the combination between those two, I don't see a better combination in terms of attacking players in the National League.
So it's the former Welsh under-21 international, Lemonhay Evans, who takes this, finds Whitfield. Too close to Johnson, who rolls out here to Danny Williams, former Accrington Stanley player. And Halifax did ask the question there as to whether that was a pass back. Clearly was sliced, I think, wasn't it? Here's Hall. Lemonhay Evans. Waters with the pass. Didn't have enough on that to reach Andrews.
Well, that's certainly the area there that Halifax have to be really patient with, because Torquay have a lot of possession this afternoon, and it's just how when they win the ball back, it's that first pass, and that time they gave it away.
Sam Shering on loan from Bournemouth could well have Thierry Henry as is the new boss of his parent club. Campbell. Campbell gets on the turn and takes on the shot. That's the first sight of goal that he's had very little in the way of service. He's had to work hard for very little so far, but that was a good effort.
Well, he certainly will have to be patient in terms of opportunities and chances that he'll get. And with the wind swirling as it is, it can be very difficult for Sean McDonald in the goal.
Mention the fact that Danny Wright's still unavailable to Gary Johnson. Halifax will be perhaps pretty glad of that. Their defence proving far from watertight. Only one clean sheet in their last 16 National League matches for Halifax, and they've conceded 5 times across their last 2 games, and they could be under threat here. Whitfield. Torquay's Player of the Year last season, Ben Whitfield. Reliable, consistent. Just to remind you, we have the highlights programme directly after this with Chris Hargreaves and Matt Smith. All the goals from today's games in the 5th tier. And then our next live game from the National League comes from the North East, Hartlepool against Barnet. Hartlepool going for promotion. Of course, Barnet at the foot of the table. Same time, same place next weekend. Randell. Andrews. It's the Halifax-born Jack Senior to take the throw-in for the Shamen. He was with Huddersfield as a youngster. Randell. Lemonhay Evans. Back to Randell. A chance to cross. Lewis. Now Asa Hall. You have to say, Adam, that Halifax, for a side who's struggled so badly for clean sheets of late, one in their last 16 matches, they've looked pretty organised so far.
I was literally just about to say that the discipline side of Pete Wild's side so far has been excellent, because you do have the movement of Waters and you have Whitfield and Lemonhay Evans that want to try and run in between the lines in terms of just in front of the defence and behind the midfield area. But if you keep a disciplined 9 and you keep the communication going, then you'll certainly see a lot of those attacks out. And I have to really say it's a real compliment to them that, apart from the cross that came in, Sam Johnson fumbled, they haven't really created too many chances that they've had to defend or make the goalkeeper make too many saves. So defensively so far, they've been very, very solid, but they have to keep concentrating and be better on the ball in these areas to try and get something in the final third.
Allen. He's been in decent form, Jamie Allen. 4 goals in his last 9 league appearances. They've not really got him into any dangerous areas in the final third as yet, though. Has been saying, Pete Wild, Adam, that they, talking about their defending, that they have been really focusing on that on the training ground. Said they've been working for the last 10 days or so on out of possession. And their shape in terms of when they're out of possession.
You can clearly see that already, that it's very, very disciplined, and it's so important that you keep your shape and you keep that communication going. That there'll be times where you look at this game and, okay, we don't have a lot of chances and you spend a lot of time without the ball, but you can actually control the game in terms of your defensive unit and defending the attacks when they come towards you. But they have to be better on the ball when they get in those positions to try and get in the final third, because it's going to be a long afternoon for Campbell, for Allen, for anyone in those central areas to try and get forward and offer anything in terms of chances towards goals.
They do, by the way, Halifax have Jake Hyde among the substitutes today. He's had a Another one of their players who's had his injury problems this season, but he has got 4 goals in 9 league games. Woking's top scorer last season. This is Hall. Waters. Whitfield. Took out the cross, Whitfield, but it rather hung in the air. Nice touch by Randell. Winter, he slipped through a nice ball there, and the shot on the turn goes wide. Waters, the man in the box, who just couldn't get that on target.
Yeah, it's one of those opportunities you get when you got your back to goal and you quickly turn, you quickly take the shot. It doesn't allow the goalkeeper to set himself. It's around the 18-yard box really, really well. Just that little turn inside there and just couldn't quite get the shot on target. It's one of those ones you take quickly so the goalkeeper can't set himself.
He's previously won the National League title under Gary Johnson. That was with Cheltenham back in 2016. 2 goals in his last 2 games for Billy Waters. Umera. I mentioned earlier, you can see all these goals in our highlights programme directly after the game tonight. Big win that for Boreham Woods. Well, I suppose the 2 most significant results today in terms of Torquay, the fact that Notts County lost against Chesterfield, but a big win for Sutton. 4 different scorers in a 4-1 win over Wealdstone for the U's, who aren't going anywhere, are they? They're a real threat in terms of the title race. Back-to-back defeats for Halifax coming into this. Just against Maidenhead and Barnet. Although Pete Wild's side are yet to lose 3 in a row this season. Haven't been troubled too much at the back so far and had that opportunity, half chance for Campbell. Torquay had and created an absolute plethora of chances against Wealdstone, didn't they? And ended up having to settle for a point in their last game.
Yeah, I mean, it was just one of those games for Gary's side where they just kept trying and got that late goal in injury time, a little bit too little too late. But we do know with this side they do create chance. Even last season, didn't they, when they were almost like one of the sides that scored the most goals but then conceded the most goals as well. But I think they found this balance now of finding goals within the side.
Adam's spot on really to highlight the defensive improvement for Torquay this season, conceding on average 0.91 goals per game this season. It was 1.69 last season. They've retained that goal threat as well, Gary Johnson's side. Better balance about them, maybe.
I think when you look at them last season, Adam, the goals that Jamie Reid scored for them was completely out of context of the amount he scored and then what the rest of the squad scored behind him. I think what they've learned this season, I mentioned Aaron Downs coming in as assistant manager to Gary Johnson, who's a league title winner with Cheltenham, an excellent defender in himself. They just seem better defensively, and then they do go forward and still score goals at a premium.
Whitfield with the cross. The goalkeeper will gather that.
Teasing crosses in, but it's just a little bit too far away for anybody to gain real momentum to get headed towards goal.
Allen with movement from Campbell. One away from Andrews. King. Dealt with by Joe Lewis.
That's the first real chance that Halifax have had, Adam, where they've got the ball into a central area, held the ball up, and then you see bodies getting forward that can maybe get across into the box and give themselves the options to maybe get a shot towards goal.
Bradbury, one of the centre-backs, has come forward for this. Burn in there too, the Halifax. King plays it in, it's a grass cutter from him. Some appeals there for a penalty from some of the Halifax players. The referee's waved it all away, Stephen Copeland.
Whitfield in question there to make the challenge there. No penalty for me, in my opinion. Just a miss hit there. No hearing.
Hall. King got there before Whitfield. Be a good contest, a good battle between those two down Torquay's left. Andrews with the throw. Out by Neil Byrne. Signing last summer described by Pete Wild as a big coup for Halifax, an experienced player at this level. Should be in his prime now as well, as Pete Wild has said, at 27. Joint top scorer this season for Halifax, Jack Earing, someone who's come back into favour after loan spells at Spennymoor and Farsley Celtic last season. Lewis. He's a Welsh under-21 international. Randell. Loan from Plymouth. Winter. Senior a little too keen to win it back. On the edge of the box here for the goals. Andrews has made his way forward as well. It's not a good ball, that, is it? A bit goes here to Campbell. Support arriving in the shape of King. And that's who he looks for, and that's who he finds. They're flooding forward in numbers here, Halifax. And it's been spilt out and turned in. An own goal to give Halifax the lead at Plainmoor. So unfortunate for Sherry, but see if they care. Halifax in front.
Well, I certainly had to say that to be a build-up, patient in the build-up, but Sean McDonald, I think he should be catching this and doing a lot better. Defending that first ball really, really well. I said the ball out had to be real, and they counter-attack at pace, and you can see the desire of King down that right-hand side to get forward, looking up for options, just put a ball into an area. But for me, that's poor goalkeeping. He doesn't need to punch it in that area, he can certainly catch it. But they've had to be patient, Halifax, to get forward in numbers. It's an unfortunate own goal, you have to say, from Sam Shearing, but Halifax won't care about that.
Well, they've had to do plenty of defending in the opening 35 minutes, Halifax. It was almost as if they were biding their time, waiting for an opportunity to get King forward, because we know what a threat he can be down that right-hand side. And well, when the opportunity presented it, he was on his bike, wasn't he?
Yeah, he certainly was. I mean, playing a slightly deeper role, because Pete Wilder does tend to play a 3-5-2 formation. He almost plays as a winger or a forward right-sided player. It's a real kick into the teeth for Gary Johnson's side. I mean, they've dominated possession, but in terms of chances, they've offered absolutely nothing so far. I mean, Halifax do well when they do score that first goal, rather than conceding the first goal. But I think it's been rewarding for their patience, because they've had to defend so much of this first half so far.
Hall. Andrews. Randell. A lot of the play's gone through here. Hall will take it on. Decides to have a go, and he wasn't too far off there, was he? Took a touch, and it'll be a corner.
It's taken 36 minutes for Torquay to test Sam Johnson from distance in these kind of areas. Maybe thinking of maybe would have just gone over the crossbar anyway. Sam Johnson can't afford to take any chances.
And they hit back immediately here, Torquay United. Connor Lemonhay-Evans to take this. Goalkeeper's come a long way and has lost his footing and now has to regain it quickly. And that's not a good ball though for Andrews. Intercepted by Danny Williams. Whitfield. Apologies for any swearing you might have picked up. Well, he's been studiously making notes right throughout the first half, Adam Pete Wild, but in terms of the way his game plan seems to be unfolding, it looks as though it's going pretty much perfectly for Halifax.
Well, he knows against a side of Torquay's quality that they could have a lot of play without the ball. So it's how you defend without the ball, the discipline that you show defensively and then offensively. I think they still have to be slightly better when they win back possession, that they can't afford to give it away far too quickly. And the two opportunities that they've had, they've got a corner from and then they scored a goal from, despite being an own goal, and slightly fortunate in that sense.
That's how Johnson seems to have picked up that injury, but thankfully with a rub to the back of the head seems okay. He was saying before the game, Pete Wild, in his own words, he's never had hair before, but because he can't see the hairdresser like just about everybody else right now, it's grown a bit wild. Whitfield pulled back for Umera to try and toe poke it almost towards goal. Been a decent reaction this to the Halifax goal from Torquay. Whitfield. Now was he caught there? Right on the edge of the box, wasn't it? Well, the referee's given it. Well, the big question mark here is to whether it was in the box or not as well. But he has pointed to the spot here.
I'll let you decide that one, Adam.
Thanks.
I think he's just inside, but just. I think the contact, I mean, cuts inside nicely there, no contact there. I think he's just inside the penalty area, but very, very close.
Captain's responsibility. And he's got them on terms here, Asa Hall. Well placed. A goalkeeper sent the wrong way. And the lead didn't last long for Halifax. All square at Plainmoor.
He's probably been arguably the best player in the first half so far, Ben Whitfield, in terms of what he provides and winning that penalty. Sam Johnson dives early the wrong way. It's a confident penalty from the captain, a composed penalty from him as well. And as you mentioned, just before they go at him, it's been a decent reaction from Torquay.
They scored home and away against Halifax this season. Asa Hall also got one in the 2-1 win at the Shea back in November. But it was the man who was so important in terms of the opening goal for Halifax, King, who's given away the penalty here as it's put behind by Bradbury.
Well, he done well there, Tom Bradbury, because the wind was really against him.
Corner taken quickly. Umera got his head on it and couldn't quite turn it home from what was a pretty tight angle there, the angle working against the goals.
Well, you come in these situations, Adam, where you've dominated in terms of the quality of the defending that Halifax has shown so far with the discipline, and they concede that goal, and all of a sudden you've got to keep your composure again, and quite quickly now, Torquay have had two chances, one from a penalty and now from a set play to get themselves that second goal.
One of the things that Pete Wilds really did lament after the defeat to Barnet was how he felt his side made two silly mistakes that led to both the goals. Looking to get back in front here. Allen, Earing opens up for the shot and it came off Hall. King. Got a big game in the Premier League tomorrow night at Old Trafford. Manchester United chasing the top four, maybe even you could still say the title, up against Newcastle United, who are looking over their shoulders right now. And then after that, we've got Premier League tonight, always a great watch with Jake Humphrey. We'll be joined by a panel of guests as Umera with the pass here. And the decision this time goes against Torquay and in favour of Halifax.
Well, they struggled to get Umera into the game in terms of balling into his feet and bringing players into play. It's been the ball into Lemonhay Evans, to Whitfield and Waters that have certainly been their outball so far. Just a slightly heavy touch there from him that runs across him.
Played with Ademola Lookman in the youth system at Charlton. Josh Umera won an under-18s league title actually with the Addicts. Go on to make a handful of senior appearances for Charlton as well. Lemonhay Evans, such a creative force for Torquay. Loses possession on that occasion, but does get a throw-in. Winters throw-in. Waters. Campbell looking to release Jamie Allen here, and King's got forward in support. It's a great run by him. Now what's the ball over like? Still King, and it's a good pullback there. Can it be turned home? Well, it was Campbell trying to get the shot in. Great work again though by King. It just wasn't really picked up at all initially, was it?
Well, he's almost making an inside run inside Allen, which is difficult to mark, because many times you see fullbacks make run and they make the overlap on the outside. And at the moment he's making the runs inside, and Torquay are finding that really, really hard to pick up. And that's when you have to ask questions of Whitfield's come back and defend. They just about get away with that one. Just a clearance there from Randell afterwards that managed to get Torquay off the hook. But when King's got forward, as we've seen with the own goal, can certainly poise a real out threat for Halifax down.
Got to say, Adam, the intelligence with which Halifax have played this first half has been really impressive for me, because they've had to pick their moments, haven't they? But they've picked them pretty well. They've looked a threat without having a great deal of the ball.
And that's when you have to spend a lot of the first half without the ball. And it's what you do with the ball, and when you decide players to go forwards, and you have to be brave with that. And I think they're so cautious of the counter-attack of Torquay. They've had to be patient when to do it. When they've done it twice, 2-3 times, they've been effective.
So a minimum of 3 minutes added time. We've had almost a minute of that. Torquay have only lost twice at home in the National League this season, but their form at Plainmoor has dropped off lately without a win in their last 3 National League home games since a real drubbing of Gary Johnson's former club Yeovil on Boxing Day. But they're certainly in a contest here. It's been a good watch this first half. It's a fixture that Torquay have very much enjoyed the upper hand in. They've won the last 4 league meetings, unbeaten in the last 9 against Halifax, winning 7 of those. They've had to come from behind the goals in this first half. Lemonhay Evans looked for Umera, and that was well intercepted, wasn't it, by King? Whitfield arriving at the back post. Slightly unorthodox that, but it got the job done. Andrews. Again, apologies for any swearing you may have heard. Final seconds then of this first half. Well, the flag goes up on the far side. What have you made of the half, Adam?
I think it's been a half that Halifax have to take a lot of credit for, Adam, in terms of the discipline they show when they haven't had the ball, and they've then tried to counter-attack at the right times. And of course the goal's been fortunate, but you kind of create your own luck sometimes. I think for Gary Johnson's side, I think he'd be looking for a tiny bit more quality in the final third. I think I look at Lemonhay Evans and Whitfield. I think they have to play slightly narrower in off the line and try and pick up pockets of space more centrally than out wide to try and get Umera into the game slightly more. I think he needs to test Sam Johnson slightly more, be slightly more clinical in that final third. But out of the 2 managers, I thought pretty well would be more the happier of the 2 coming into half-time.
Check of the watch from the referee as we move towards the 50th minute of the half. One last chance perhaps here for Torquay, but that's a comfortable take for Johnson, which brings the first half to a close. Yes, Notts County have lost today, but there's a real significance, a real importance, a real pressure, Adam, on this next 45 minutes.
Well, it certainly will be, the way that Sutton was so effective this afternoon in their performance. Having the later kick-off, it will certainly put pressure on Gary Johnson's side to go out there and pick up 3 points to try and keep that momentum going at the top of the league. But knowing a defeat or a draw could certainly pull Notts County lost, but even then back into the title chase, as well as Sutton as well.
And a long way out there, McDonald's. 4 clean sheets for him in the National League this season, 3 of them in his last 5 appearances. Of course, Lucas injured right now, another one of the goalkeepers on the books at Plainmoor. Missed by Senior. Quite kept in there by Danny Williams. Returns as a sub against Barnet. Williams having missed a couple of games injured. Had started 10 in a row before that. Hall. Randell. Senior's header. Is there a push there on Williams? There was by Winter. He's decided to come down from that higher vantage point he had in the stands in the first half. Pete Wild. It's a really interesting guy to listen to, I've always thought. Pete Wild says he's obsessed with football, obsessed with getting better, and obsessed with finding ways to get better as well. I remember something he said.
I think the work he's done at Halifax Town is certainly a real credit to him. Coming in from Oldham, the job that he did there towards coming in on that part-time basis, getting that win in the FA Cup against Fulham, I remember. And taking over from Jamie Fullerton, who had a different philosophy of football, the different philosophy, the way that he wanted to take this club forward. It almost felt like a breath of fresh air to come into the club and be so open to new ideas and to try and take this club forward as much as possible. And you have to give credit to him as well. I know managers always talk about budgets and what's working against them, but you certainly know that Halifax are really, really up against it. I think last season was a real testament to him that maybe he could have pushed for manager of the season, the work that he did.
Fields ball in, and really comfortable take in the end for Sam Johnson. Have to go all the way back to March 2008 for Halifax's last league win over Torquay. By 3-2. John Shaw scored twice for Halifax at the Shea. Nothing in this contest after the first half.
We can clearly see in the start of the second half, Adam, that it's almost going to be a mirror of the first half, where Torquay are going to have a lot of possession and Halifax are going to have to be very, very patient without the ball.
He'll be desperate for his side to regain some real momentum. Gary Johnson. He's had a 35-year managerial career which began at Newmarket Town in 1986. Quite funny, Gary Johnson, when he talks about his son. Lee, of course, is a very fine manager in his own right. I remember him saying that he asked Alexa who Gary Johnson is, and she replied, the father of Lee Johnson. He was gutted, he said. Winter. Oh, he's also accused Lee of nicking all his sayings over the years as well. Gary Johnson's Torquay, despite that dip in form that we've mentioned, worthy leaders. No National League side has lost fewer games. Same as Sutton, just the 4 defeats, and no National League team has won more games. Also have the league's best goal difference. Can they see it through? Can they win promotion back to the promised land of the Football League? Green. Allen's attempted cross. Earink. Green. Senior just seemed to be caught then after playing the ball, but on we go. And they do finally get the free kick here, Halifax.
It was really good centre-forward play there from Campbell. Just that little inside ball there from Senior. Thinking the ball was going out wide to Williams, and actually went central as well. Just during the foul there from Hall, but was certainly getting a lot of pull in there from Lewis as well, so I think he would have won the foul anyway, despite the captain's challenge.
He's led the line pretty well, hasn't he, Campbell? Especially in a side that's had to pick its moments. Has surrendered a lot of possession to Torquay, but they may threaten from this set piece. It's Jeff King who will take it.
He's certainly got the options to go towards goal, purely on the winds behind him.
Just decide to go for goal, but hit the foot of the wall as Asa Hall heads clear. Danny Williams to send it forward again. Knocked down by Green. Allen with the ball to King.
Yeah, disappointing there from the free kick from Jeff King. I think he's trying to get it up and over the wall, but as I mentioned, the wind behind him. Go goalkeeper's side, he just try and strike through the ball, hit the target. You never know what happens.
Campbell trying to get on the turn. He's causing them one or two problems, isn't he, with his presence, Campbell. Fouled that time by Hall.
He's done really, really well twice now in the space of quick succession. Back to goal was never easy for a centre-forward. Again, it's just Hall giving away a cheap challenge, but they didn't capitalise on from the last free kick. Maybe something different this time.
It's on loan from Cheltenham, Tavon Campbell. It's his second loan spell of the season. He also had a period of time in National League North with Gloucester City. But it needs to be better this time from King, if indeed he takes it. The wind could be a factor as well here, you know, in this second half. You can see from the players' shirts that it's affecting things. Again, it's driven in that time by Williams. But once more, like King on the opposite side, there just wasn't the required elevation.
It's just the quality of the free kick, Adam. That's been the disappointing aspect of those two chances. Not testing the goalkeeper in any way, shape or form. Going into the wall for one, and I think it was Lemon Hay-Evans that blocked the second one.
Allen being spoken to briefly by the referee, a shake of the hands with the hand with Andrews. Heavy fall that, wasn't it, for the substitute? Strott's well on the edge of the box here, and Waters will take it on, and Senior came in with the challenge. They're asking the question as Lemon Hay-Evans kept it in. It's a good ball over, but well defended. Bradbury stuck his head on it. Whitfield keeps it going. That's a lovely turn. Now the shot straight at Johnson. They defended that well in the end, Halifax, but there was a real and obvious threat, wasn't there from Torquay. Advantage play by the referee. And this could turn into something good here for Torquay. Whitfield's behind it goes, but they've just upped the tempo and they're moving through the gears more now, the goals.
Yeah, you can certainly feel a little bit more urgency from Torquay now. Picking up the second ball as well, being so effective with that through ball to try and get players forward and try and create opportunities. Just seems more of a purpose now. I thought they had a lot of possession in that first half, and you almost felt that Halifax were being quite comfortable in defending certain situations. Now you know they're being asked questions, and you certainly feel that something could be open for the home team to get a goal.
Shade over 10 gone in this second half. Plenty of movement in the box. Sent in by Lemonhay-Evans, headed clear by Senior. Going to come straight back at Halifax though, Andrews. Quickly won it back as Lemonhay-Evans looked to slip in Umera. And now at the other end, Torquay look a bit stretched. They're rushing numbers back. It's Earing. He's got Campbell waiting in the box. Senior went on the outside. Earing's gone on and then got underneath it. Well, until the finish, that was brilliant from Earing.
It's a great little individual play there. It's just a little chop back inside with the right foot that creates the opportunity for him to get the shot towards goal, and that's where you need the quality to hit the target. Just that little cut back inside there gives a little chance. Just maybe snatch at the chance, maybe given the opportunity, but hasn't really seen too many opportunities and chances in this position.
Pete Wild was really impressed with the attitude of Earing, who, as I mentioned earlier, was sent out on loan last season to Spennymoor and Farsley, but he came back after the first lockdown and looked in really good shape. And Pete Wild has utilised him a lot since then. As their joint top scorer with 4 goals this season. It's his 21st league appearance of the campaign. Waters with the pass. Hall. Andrews. Movement from Whitfield, but across came Neil Byrne. Allen. Good movement again here by Earing. Campbell waits in the middle. Here he is! Just wide. And only just.
Well, in my mind, when that cross went in, I just said, what a goal. Because I thought this was in. Brilliant build-up play there. Earing makes a great midfield run forward. He puts it on a plate. And when the chance came to Campbell, to me, there's no conviction, there's no belief, and just hits it wide of the post. But brilliant play there from the away side.
What a contest we've got on our hands here, isn't it? Very enjoyable. That was King's pass intended for Allen. Yet to score, Campbell, since arriving on loan from Cheltenham. We've seen how well he's led the line tonight, but that was his big moment, wasn't it? Not able to take it.
And that's sometimes the difference at this level, Adam, where centre forwards may get one chance and you've got to take it.
Williams been able to bring this a long way, and here's Campbell again, just that slip, and then it got away from Earing. Given away by the skipper, Marr. Gary Johnson is not happy at all with the way that his side are playing right now. With almost an hour gone, there could be another injury problem here. A concerned man, Adam.
It seems, when I watch them against Altrincham at home, where individually they weren't at it, as a team they weren't at it, and it has that kind of similar vibe second half for them. That when they play so well in the first half and they dominate possession, second half they seem a completely different side and have allowed Halifax to grow in confidence, to bring themselves the best chances in this second half so far, and you can clearly see now the belief is with the away team.
What a story it would be if Pete Wild could achieve promotion to the Football League. Of course, it'd have to be via the playoffs, and that's a big ask anyway, but they are a Phoenix club. Halifax Town AFC went into administration in the 2007-8 season. They've worked their way up slowly but surely. And he's going to be introducing a centre forward, Jake Hyde, very soon. And I know that they're a little bit concerned about, they want to manage the minutes is probably the best way of putting it, isn't it, Adam, with Jake Hyde? But when you look at this game and the fact that they are creating chances, they are creating openings, Halifax, he could be the man to take a chance that they do.
Yeah, I think the chance that fell to Campbell, Hyde would certainly like to be on the end of. And I think you're quite right there, Adam, to mention the point that has suffered a lot with injuries since signing, and it's been a real disappointment because him and Stenson were the two players that Pete Wild brought in, spent a lot of budget on to try and lead the line to find their goals, but as a pair, Stenson being out for the rest of the season, they haven't been managed to find that. And I think time this season when he has been injured, they brought him back far too early because they needed the goals, they needed the personnel, they needed the players out there. And I know they're trying to manage him a lot better, but when he came on against Barnet, I thought he played really, really well and was very, very effective despite losing the game.
Waters with the foul. It was Lemonhay Evans who tried to slip in Whitfield down the left. Now here comes that change. And it's Danny Williams who's going to be coming off here. Well, so it's not going to be a straight swap up front with Campbell, it would seem. He's going to be remaining on. I think they're just getting one or two instructions actually out to Campbell, out of your shot at the moment. What do you make of that change, Adam? Intriguing one, isn't it? Williams off, Hyde on. Well,
it certainly can. I mean, in terms of the shape, I think it certainly may stay the same. Hyde leading the line. Umira may go to the left-hand side, and Hyde leading the line on his own down the middle. Well, they could go 4-3-3. I mean, he seems pretty disappointed, Danny Williams, to be coming off, but it's a positive change from the away team to try and get themselves this winner.
So Umira, who hasn't really been able to affect things this afternoon, he's replaced here by Rob Street, who's highly thought of at his parent club, the Premier League side Crystal Palace. Signed his first pro deal with Palace last summer. A centre forward, he scored 5 goals in 10 league games for Palace's under-23s this season. He hasn't yet scored a senior goal. There could be a chance here, though. And it was Campbell in there again for the Shaman.
Campbell picking up a position on that left-hand side, Hyde taking the more central position. Maybe a shade of offside if VAR was out, but just a commitment there to get forward. They've been excellent in this second half so far, Halifax.
Randell. Whitfield. Randell, Asa Hall wanted it. Here he is. They're appealing for offside here, Halifax, but on we go. It's Winter. Earing, close control, thumped forward by Senior. Did well to prevent the corner there, MacDonald. Senior, who's come forward to take this. These two sides under real pressure to get back to winning ways. It's 1 win in 6 in the National League for Torquay, 2 in 6 for Halifax. Although they've lost their last 2, remember. Oh, was Earing caught there? The referee had a perfect view of that. Felt there was no foul by Randell. That'd be very interesting to see again.
Well, certainly will be interesting to see. I have to say that Steve Copeland was in an excellent position to see that. It's a good decision there for me. The right one as well. Sometimes look at a player's reaction as well and clearly see the direction of the ball going from the touch.
Waters. Whitfield onto that right foot, and Randell hit. Well, it's completely misjudged it. I mentioned these are two teams who are each, Adam, looking to rediscover some real momentum, and they'll each see this as a real opportunity, the final 25 minutes.
And what we've seen this season with Gary Johnson's side is scoring late goals in the last 10 minutes and injury time as well, that's been so effective for them to staying at the top of the table But you look at the balance of the game at the moment, you look at Halifax Town, the way that they've played, the way that they set up in the second half, the real momentum is with Pete Wild's side to go and get that second. But for Torquay United, I don't think they've just been good enough on the ball. You look at those three creative players in the final third, haven't been influential enough on the ball to create anything or have any chances.
Well, he hasn't got much he can do, has he, Pete Wild, with so many injuries, 8 players out today. They only named 4 substitutes, already used. Jake Hyde. Of course, one of them's a goalkeeper as well. Allen chasing this. He's always up against it. In 2014, the last time Torquay graced the Football League. They hope to end their 7-year exile in 2021, but they could have played themselves into trouble here. Earink didn't reach Campbell. Waters. There's a really good run there by Levenhay Evans, and it wasn't noticed by Rob Street, or at least he couldn't find it.
We spoke about Danny Wright's influence in terms of what he provides for the team, and I think this is a real opportunity and probably a way that you pick out that he is really being missed so far in this second half, because they've got the wind against them, but they've got no real stability in that central area in the final third to hold the ball up and bring those attacking players into play.
Earink seen a lot of the ball, isn't he, in this second half? Allen. Campbell on the edge of the box, as is Hyde. King. Allen. Thought he might return it to King there. It looked on. Senior. Campbell. He has to do a different role now on this left-hand side. I've been impressed by Campbell. Yes, he didn't take the chance that fell his way, but the rest of his game tonight has been very good. Former West Brom youngster, didn't make any senior appearances for the Baggies. It's someone who has played as high as League One with Gillingham. Let's run through here. Hyde. Squeezed over the cross, and it had to be dealt with by Joe Lewis.
I just see a completely different side second half, Torquay United. They haven't really adjusted to the wind going against them, so the ball over the top is really effective for Halifax Town to play on the shoulders, play in the final third, and use that long ball over the top, hit with the right quality.
Just over 20 minutes to go. Mayer with the touch and cleared by Randell. You mentioned 2014, the last time Torquay graced the Football League. It's not since 2002 that an EFL match has been played at the Shea. Playoffs, Halifax's aim, the method by which they reached the National League in 2017. Here's Levenhay Evans. Now, there's a coming together and the penalty's been given. Well, it's Jeff King again. The man who gave away that spot kick in the first half, and he's been penalised once more, and Torquay with the chance to get themselves in front here.
Well, it's a real lifeline for Gary Johnson's side, because again it's just another long ball over the top. Just seemed quite clumsy though from Jeff King. And Waters gets the wrong side of him. Is he going to get the ball? Probably not. So I think that's what the question that the fullback is certainly going to be answered, that the cross was going to get nowhere near the attacking player, but what a chance this is now for Asa Hall.
Just a slight delay to the penalty here. And it's just crept in. The goalkeeper so close to keeping that out. But it's 2 for the captain, Asa Hall. And Torquay here have turned it around. They lead with 20 minutes to go.
Well, fair play to the captain, because taking 2 penalties in the same game is never easy, because you end up playing mind games with yourself. But this time, the conviction to strike through the ball and just go for power. Takes it past Sam Johnson, just couldn't quite get down quick enough to make the save. But what an important penalty that could be, not only for the captain, but for the context of the way this league could possibly go.
Senior. Apologies for any swearing you may have picked up. Winter. Hyde looking to get on the turn, and he did, but put it wide.
Oh, difficult opportunity there for the number 9 to get that turn and shot again. Captain going forward, quite slightly heavy touch there, but certainly committed in the challenge. Not a bad technique to turn there, but just couldn't quite execute the shot on target. It's really important now that Pete Wild's side get a reaction, because they've dominated this second half so far, and the goal's certainly gone against the run of play.
I guess, Adam, winning a league title is sometimes about winning games when you're not at your best. Torquay haven't been at their best so far here today, but they've turned it around. And Gary Johnson, whilst he won't be happy, I'm sure, with a lot about this performance, he'll be impressed with the character, at least, that they've shown so far, the goals.
Well, he certainly will do. I mean, there'll be periods of the season, Adam, where you look at certain games and the rub of the green doesn't go for you, but you end up picking points, and there'll be 7 or 8 games a season where you just have to win ugly, and you have to try and find a way of winning, and it's not about the performance. I mean, you look at the draw against Wealdstone, they probably created more chances, had better chances, and only ended up with a draw. They probably played worse this game, and at the moment they're in pole position to pick up 3 points. But you look at character sometimes, you look at desire, and you look at ways of just trying to find a win. And this could be a massive, massive win if they do manage to keep hold of this. Because at the moment they don't deserve it on their second half performance, but when you're going for league titles, that doesn't matter.
Well, I guess from a Halifax perspective, they'll feel like this is one that has got away from them, although they still have plenty of time to rescue the situation. Well, that was nicely done. Winter with the chance to cross. Allen with King getting forward on the outside of it. Waters, just the wrong side of Lemonhay Evans. Just to remind you that we have the highlights programme with all the goals from the 5th tier today. After this game, that with Chris Hargreaves and Matt Smith. Our next live National League action a week today. Hartlepool, of course, going for promotion. Barnet at the other end of the table next Saturday, 5 o'clock for that on BT Sport 2. Torquay looking to extend their lead here as it's played wide by Street to Lemonhay Evans, up against Senior. Hit by Lemonhay Evans and out of play it had gone. Well, you picked out Jeff King, Adam, before the game as your player to watch for Halifax, and I guess from a positive point of view and a negative perspective, he's been absolutely key to this game, hasn't he? Given away 2 penalties and played a big role in Halifax's goal.
I don't know where to go with that answer, to be honest. I mean, he's a real outball for Halifax. I mean, in terms of what he's brought this season, he scored a great goal against Barnet, getting forward, and he's a real outball for Pete Wild's side. I think he's arguably one of the best right-side attacking players in the division.
Played in by Street. Hall loses possession. Truth be told, Adam, I was trying to make you look good by saying that you picked out as someone who really did have an influence.
But in the right and wrong ways, you quite rightly said.
Yeah, here's Allen. Still time, plenty of time for Halifax to sort this situation out. Earing was tripped. Foul by Hall, who's got both of Torquay's goals.
There's a few counter challenges now. I think that's 3 that the captain's given away. 2 in those central areas where Halifax Town had an opportunity to get a shot towards goal, a shot on target. Now this is in a slightly different area.
So King to take it. Can he redeem himself somewhat here? King with a quality ball in. It is good, and it was Bradbury who's got his head in his hands.
Well, he certainly knows that's a chance there, the centre-half, because there's a brilliant ball in there from King. So all the pace is on the cross, just for better direction towards goal. Just got caught underneath it a little bit, that took it over the crossbar.
Through the MK Dons youth system, Tom Bradbury. As recall in an interview I read with him saying what a brilliant schooling it was the same academy as Dele Alli. Said now they were always made to play out from the back on really small pitches. Says that it's always helped in terms of him whenever he's pressed as a defender. Earing, and he's brought this a long way. They're backing off, and the acrobatics from Campbell, and Earing's there again, and this time he goes in. The equaliser for Halifax, and it's been probably their most effective player in this second half, who's got the leveller but been injured in the process.
Well, he certainly deserves this goal on his second half performance, but tell you what, talk about bravery, because he knows when that ball falls to him, he's going to go into a 50-50 challenge. McDonald just got slightly lucky there with the save, because he was going one direction, and he goes in there and gets absolutely clattered by the goalkeeper. But he's been so effective in this second half. Look at his belief there to go and get the ball from the missed kick, overhead kick, takes the challenge in from the goalkeeper, brave in the challenge, but brave in the goal as well. And I think they deserve that, and they really, really do. The goal against them was against the run of play to make it 2-1.
Well, already 8 players out for Halifax. He's the last man, I would imagine, that Pete Wild would want to lose to injury right now, because he's been so effective. What must Gary Johnson be thinking? Turned it all around, and now they've conceded again.
Just an element of frustration, Adam, that they've not been at it. And when you're not at it, this is what happens in the National League. But there's a real desire there from the number 10 on the ball now to look up. I think McDonald gets lucky with a shot there, because I think he's going into the other corner. But he just gambles on it, doesn't he? Takes the challenge as well from the goalkeeper, gets hurt in it. But it's that desire and bravery. You see managers say it so many times. You've got to put your head on the ball and go into those areas. We're going to put a foot on it, expect a challenge to come in. And he was brave, because most players maybe would have pulled out that thing and they weren't going to get there. But it's certainly a goal they deserve.
The top scorer now with 5 for the season. And where will this game take us next? Will we get a winner as we move into the final 10 minutes? Well, it'll be a relief to Pete Wild to see that he's been able to seemingly run that off, Jack Earing. But isn't he a great example, Adam, to maybe a young player who things aren't quite going well for? He's, as I say, was sent out on loan twice last season, but showed the right attitude to his manager and has subsequently got chances and making the most of them.
Well, he certainly has done. I mean, you look at his mental attitude. I mean, he was on the bench 3 times before he started against Barnet midweek. And sometimes as a player you feel an element of frustration, especially when the team are not playing well and you're being dropped and you're being left out and you feel an opportunity to come towards you. But, I mean, second half he's been absolutely magnificent. He's played that number 10 role magnificently because there's been a change of shape, there's been a change of formation from what Pete Wild usually goes out with, and he's been so influential, and he certainly deserves that goal.
Winter's attempted cross. It's a nice first touch again by Earing, who then is brought down by Hall.
Well, he's certainly in the groove, isn't he, now? Confidence is flowing nicely. Again, there's another late challenge there from the captain. It's been 4 or 5 now, Adam, that possibly could have ended up with a booking.
Big game in the Premier League tomorrow at Old Trafford, 6:30. We get underway. Manchester United against relegation threatened Newcastle. Tomorrow from 6:30, and then Premier League tonight. It's always a brilliant watch. Some great chats in there, led by Jake Humphrey. 9:15 start time for that tomorrow night after the live game on BT Sport 1. It was billed as a game between the league's top 2 scoring sides. You didn't want me to mention that, did you? You thought I'd jinx it, but we've got the goals in the end. 2 apiece. Will we get a winner as Whitfield looked to hit that?
Oh, when you sent me that stat last night via text, I never sleep well afterwards. Saying that these 2 sides score a lot of goals, that we could end up with a 0-0, but I mean, his side has showed great character. And that shows the confidence that they've got in him, and certainly shows the direction that he wants to take this club. With all the injuries and everything that's gone against them, I think they show great character and great desire, especially after that poor performance against Barnet midweek.
Lemonhay Evans. Whitfield, they had to be careful. He's wriggled away, and it was blocked the shot. Randell's cross, and Winter's arriving at the back post, but he won't make that. Well, just as he wriggled away there, Whitfield, it looked like he could potentially hit the target, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he's shown glimpses in this second half. First half, he was arguably Torquay's best player. He's got a great change of pace, a great change of direction in tight areas.
He started all 27 matches this season. Of course, you can make it 28 now, as with Bournemouth as a young player. A victory for Torquay here would see them equal their tally of wins for all of last season. How they're being made to work, though, the home side, the league leaders. Halifax beaten at Barnet, the club's the table's bottom side on Tuesday night, and it's been a good reaction from Pete Wild's team tonight. Senior in not too much of a rush. Good distance on that from the Halifax-born defender. Came off Lemonhay Evans. Waters. Hit first time by Hall. Senior covering. Can the league's top scorers find another one here? And with the pressure on them a bit here after Sutton's win earlier today. Lewis. Winter. It's Ma, the captain of Halifax, who got in the way of that ball over. Could be a chance here, and the goalkeeper just got there in the nick of time. And sets Halifax off here with King. Crossfield ball by Green, looking for Campbell, but overhit. Could this yet be Torquay's year? The last time they were promoted from this level, more than a decade ago now, when the National League playoffs under Paul Buckle in 2009. Beat Cambridge United 2-0 at Wembley in the final. Of course, our very own Chris Hargreaves among the scorers, along with Tim Sills.
I don't think he's mentioned that before, has he?
He brought the video with him on VHS, didn't he, to Wembley last season?
All in black and white.
It was a great performance from him that day. As I say, part of the last Torquay side to get promotion from this level. But Halifax on the attack now. Earing went on the outside, but Allen looked to drive it in. It's King. And he's still going, and there's his shot, and it's in! Of all the people, the man who gave away 2 penalties has now put Halifax in front in the final few minutes here. No wonder he's checking his watch. They might just have won this.
Well, what an end to this game we have from a player that has been involved from the start to the finish. Given away 2 penalties, but I tell you what, talk about the desire and character of Jeff King to go and get yourself the winner. He's not even in the picture when this ball is at Allen's feet. Maybe the overlap of Earing should have been given to him there, and all of a sudden he's got one thing on his mind: to cut inside. Not expecting a shot of that quality with his left foot. But I maybe look at the goalkeeper again. Could he have got a better and stronger hand to this to keep this out? But you have to show the character and the desire of Halifax Town to keep going and going and going and get themselves a goal. So I think they certainly deserve it on their second half performance. Brilliant desire there from Jeff King, and there's a tidy finish from him.
Second goal in as many games. He got one at Barnet during the week. But will that be the goal that wins this for Halifax? Been a brilliant game. Well, Gary Johnson, manager of the league leaders. It's Hall now who tracks it wide. Well, close to an equaliser.
That shot there, Adam, I think Sam Johnson loses his footing. That a pretty routine shot that ends up in that bottom corner, could be going in. Good little build-up play there. I think the goalkeeper just has a little slip.
Into the final minute we go at Plainmoor. Halifax, remember, lost at the league's bottom club Barnet on Tuesday night. And that was a bit late on Hall, a challenge by Niall Marr. It's going to be a booking here for the Halifax man. But this is where Halifax now, Adam, have got to be so concentrated, so switched on as we move towards added time.
You can't play as well as they've played, show the character and desire that what they've done, to then go and concede from a set play.
Andrews will take it. Oh, the goalkeeper stayed put. And it was the right decision. A minimum of 4 minutes added time. The league leaders losing at home. What a boost this would be for Halifax's playoff hopes, Adam.
Absolutely massive, Adam. Absolutely massive. I mean, to take the way that they've taken the game to Torquay in this second half, the goals they've conceded have been 2 penalties, so nothing from open play. I think they've been magnificent in their discipline in the first half, and they've shown something different in the second half. They've actually got players forward. They've dominated play in their midfield and created good chances.
Ma could finish it off here. They'll be watching on at Sutton at Gander Green Lane, having secured a victory themselves today against Wealdstone. They'll be watching on at Notts County, hoping that it's a bit of a let-off for them if Torquay were to drop points, having been beaten by Chesterfield. Let's get Adam's man of the match.
Well, I think his second half performance in particular, Jack Earing, was absolutely superb, and you kind of felt he drove the team forward in terms of his desire and the way that he drove with the ball. And the second goal was so important, brave in the challenge of going for the ball. Really important goal in terms of momentum, and I think his second half performance in particular has been excellent.
They're going to take their time over this one, would imagine. To the corner, Campbell goes. Hay Evans eager to get it back. Looked like it had gone out, but Torquay have a tough-looking trip to Solihull next, then they go to Woking in the FA Trophy. Halifax had been meant to play Woking themselves next Saturday, but that's obviously been postponed now, so they're next in action at home to another one of the promotion chasers, Hartlepool, on the 2nd of March. Allen. Torquay desperately need the ball back here. Senior lofts it forward up towards Heights, who then felt the contact and gets the free kick. The foul by Ramdale. And with a shade over a minute of the allotted added time to go, Pete Wild's side are on the brink of a big 3 points.
It'll be absolutely massive for them. And they need to try and keep this momentum going, because when they're on it, Adam, they're an effective side, and when they're not on it, they put in performances like they did against Barnet. They can't afford to go through the motions. Every single player has to show something.
Campbell again heading for the corner flag. Finally, they've got it back here and then lose it immediately, but do get the free kick, and it's a chance for them to get everybody forward here. The goalkeeper is going to take this. This could well be the last opportunity for Torquay. Long and hopeful it goes. Towering header clear, but it'll come back at Halifax. Will something drop for Torquay in the closing stages? Winter just about keeps hold of it. It's Billy Waters, there's his ball in, and the goalkeeper comes for it and gets it, and that might just be it. Halifax take the points, and that's what it means.